Jacob walked through the ruined streets, dodging debris and shadows that moved in the distance. He was a broken man, living purely by instinct in a world where hope had been forgotten. Days passed without purpose, and he barely felt the passage of time. The pain of loneliness was a constant weight, something he had accepted as part of his new reality. Deep down, he still longed for something, even though he didn't know what it was. During one of his supply runs, he spotted a figure among the rubble. It was a woman, her face covered in dirt and clothes torn, but her eyes shone with an unusual light. She looked strong and determined, and Jacob, without knowing exactly why, approached her. He hadn't spoken to anyone in months, but something about her pulled him in. As their eyes met, they felt an unexpected and powerful connection. Her name was Sarah. From the start, she showed she was someone who didn't just survive but fought with a courage Jacob thought impossible in that dark world. With her by his side, he began to rediscover small joys. They shared stories, laughter, and even dared to dream, even knowing the future was uncertain. Her presence gave him a purpose, something he had believed he had lost forever. Over time, Jacob realized Sarah was more than just a survival partner. She was the spark that rekindled his humanity. Together, they found small things to make the days bearable, like recalling old songs or cooking what little they could find. Each moment reminded him that beauty still existed, even amidst chaos and devastation. Days with Sarah passed quickly, but were full of meaning. Jacob found himself smiling, laughing, and even feeling excited about something beyond survival. She taught him to value every second and see beyond the destruction. Their connection deepened, and in a world overtaken by death, it felt like they were living a story outside that dark setting. One night, as they rested in an old abandoned cabin, Jacob and Sarah shared stories of the past. She told him about her childhood, and he felt as if they were in a different time, as if the horrors outside didn't exist. He knew he was falling in love, and the feeling was as new as it was frightening. But he didn't want to lose it. It gave him strength to keep going. They created a routine together, always alert, but finding small moments of peace. Jacob now felt he had someone to fight for, someone who made him feel whole. Sarah gave him back the desire to live, to wake up every day with a purpose he hadn't known he still had. He started to believe that maybe they could have a future, even in a world like this. One day, while they were exploring a building for supplies, they heard heavy footsteps and distant groans. The zombies, ever present in their daily nightmare, were closer than ever. Jacob held Sarah's hand, promising he would protect her, but he knew they were at a disadvantage. Both prepared for the worst, but a part of them still hoped they could escape. They ran through the narrow, crumbling corridors, trying to lose the undead that pursued them. The tension was palpable, and Jacob's heart raced, not only from the imminent danger, but from the fear of losing Sarah. When they thought they had created enough distance, they stumbled upon an even larger group of zombies blocking the only exit. They were trapped. Amid the chaos, Sarah tripped and fell, and Jacob watched the horror unfold before his eyes. He tried to reach her, but the zombies were faster, grabbing and holding her down. The scene that followed was torment for him. Jacob wanted to look away, but couldn't abandon the last glimpse of the woman who had brought life back to him. He called out for her, but it was too late. Sarah's scream echoed, and the sound remained in Jacob's mind like a permanent scar. He stood frozen, consumed by pain and despair. When the zombies finally moved away, what was left of Sarah was a mutilated, disfigured body, a terrible reminder of the beauty he had loved. He fell to his knees, feeling powerless and shattered like never before. As Jacob tried to compose himself, he saw the impossible. Sarah's body began to move again, reanimated by the same horror that haunted the world. He wanted to run, to forget, but he knew he had to end her suffering. With a trembling hand, he raised his weapon, his heart aching, and gave a final farewell to the woman who had been his light in the darkness. The scene was devastating for Jacob, but he knew it was the only way to honor the love they shared. Every moment with Sarah played like a film in his mind, now marked by that last moment. He was alone again, and the darkness of the world felt even deeper, as if the sky itself mourned his loss. Without Sarah, Jacob found himself back in the same crushing solitude he had always known. But now it was worse because he knew what it was like to feel happiness, love, and hope, even in a destroyed world. She had shown him that beauty was possible, and now that beauty became a painful memory that would follow him wherever he went. The pain was a constant weight on his shoulders, and every step felt like a useless effort. But somehow, the memory of Sarah gave him strength. He didn't know if he would ever find peace again, but he clung to the memories that had become his fuel. He walked alone, but her presence still guided him, like a distant light. As Jacob wandered through the ruins, the sounds of distant zombies were just background noise. Nothing seemed capable of scaring him anymore. He had lost the person he loved most, and that made him fearless. Every zombie he encountered along the way became a target, and he faced them without fear, as if he were exorcising the pain now embedded in his soul. Days passed, and Jacob became a shadow, a man marked by loss. He continued to fight, but not for survival. It was a battle against the emptiness itself. The hope that he might someday find new purpose was faint, but he clung to it as the last spark that remained in his heart.